In this video, I want to show you how to put a hem in your beginning fabric. And to do that, what I like to do is measure out about 4 times the width of my warp thread. So there's 2, 3, and 4. I'm going to leave that as my tail that I can use to hem with. And my first 3 shots of my weft thread, I am not going to beat when I put them in. I'm just going to turn my heddle and create a different shed. So you can see how that's woven up and down, back and forth. So I'm going to throw my second shot through, just like this. And again, I'm not going to beat, I'm just going to change my shed. When I throw my third shot, I'm going to wrap this under my tail so that it catches it. As I go back through, throw my third shot, and when I get over here, I'm going to pull out the little loop I left, and I'm going to pass my shuttle through that little loop, just like that. So now I have both of my tails captured and locked into those first 3 threads. And I'm going to beat them down and together like I normally would. And now those tails aren't going anywhere. I can go ahead and throw some more shots of my weft thread if I want to. And get it untangled here. Right through there. So I've got about 5 shots on here. Now I want to show you how to hem this so that you have a nice even finished salvage edge. I'm going to put my shuttle away out of the way. And you can do this with just a tapestry needle, any large-eyed tapestry needle. If you are lucky enough to come across an actual weaver's needle, they're kind of hard to find these days, but they're really handy because they're so nice and long. And this one's got a bunch of thread stuck in it. But you thread this long tail that we left, that 4 times the width of our warp string. Thread that onto your needle. And you're going to decide how many warp and weft threads you want to go across to do your hem. You can do 3 by 3, 3 by 4, you can do whatever you want to do. Just be consistent all the way across so that you have a nice neat edge and a nice neat finish. If you're going to put fringe, and say these warp threads were going to be part of my fringe, and I might decide I wanted to wrap 5 warp strings together to make a bundle of fringe, I would probably do 5 warp strings in my hem so that I make a nice bunch of warp threads that stand together. I think for this one I've got 5 weft threads up, so I'm going to do 5 warp strings across. So I'm going to start here on the end, and I'm going to count over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm going to come up right here. Now when I come up, I want to go through this loop, and I'm going to pull my thread to the left, and I get a nice bunch of 5 warp threads there. So I've got this little V looking stitch on here. I'm going to go back down exactly below where I just came up here, and I'm going to count over again 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to come up right here, and again I'm coming through that loop so that I get this nice little angled stitch there. Now 5 is quite a bit with as thin as this thread is. I usually tend to do more 3 by 3, but this is just an example. Go down exactly where I just came up between those same 2 warp threads, count over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and come up through the loop. like that. And you can see this makes a little bit of a decorative stitch on your hem, but you can look at it and it really does make a nice edge to your finished piece, whether it's a rug or a scarf or whatever. Now, one thing that's kind of difficult is I'm looking down and I'm seeing not only these warp threads in my upper shed, but I'm seeing the threads down here in what's going to eventually be part of my project. And one way of making it a little easier to look at is to just take a piece of typing paper or colored construction paper and lay it down there, and then visually you can see those threads a lot better, and you don't have to struggle with that constant trying to see what you're doing. And we're just going to finish that hem stitch all the way across. Shouldn't take long because we're doing such big bundles. One, two, three, four, five. This is what is nice about a weaver's needle, is that you can really get a hold of it. With a tapestry needle, you can do it, but it's just a little bit more of a struggle for your hands. So we're almost to the end. One, two, three, four, five. Now down here, I have my bundle of 5, and then I just have 4 left. It's not a big deal as long as it's on your edge to have a little smaller bundle. Pull that through there. And you can see I've got that nice little finished decorative stitch on there. With my tail here, I'm just going to go around my outside thread, and then I'm just going to weave this back through here. Little ways, pull it out. Oops. And some people leave their unfinished threads that they're going to weave in later on top. I like mine on bottom because I don't like to look at them, and I want to know what my finished product's going to look like. And so I just tuck them in the back there and snip them off, and then when I come back later I can weave that tail in when I'm finished. That actually is going to even look nicer when you beat it together. Makes a real nice finished edge to your weaving.